Hi, I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back if you are a regular visitor here. And if you've not been here before, a big welcome to you. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. So today I'm bringing you yet another of my short heads up videos. And the subject for today, which is the 24th of February 2023, is about Black Moon Lilith, because Black Moon Lilith is making a trine aspect, or rather I should say the other way round actually. Our goddess of love, Venus that is in Aries, is making a trine aspect to Black Moon Lilith. But before I go into the actual astrology of the event chart, I just want to explain again a little bit about the science behind what Black Moon Lilith is, because it's to do with the apogee and the perigee. The perigee is when the moon is at its closest to Earth, whilst the apogee is when the moon is in its kind of final last slither of crescent before it goes into us not being able to see it at all. So that's when it's at its furthest from the planet. And it's known, this kind of, it moves back and forwards between all the zodiac signs, and it still follows round on a sort of a deliberate course, but it's known as Black Moon Lilith. And Lilith, of course, as we know from the mythology, was Adam's first wife, and she was the disobedient one, and she probably transformed herself into the serpent that tempted Eve with that apple, just to make her point. But I just thought it would be fun to look at Lilith today being trined by Venus, because Lilith is currently in Leo, and I think this makes her particularly feisty, because Leo, of course, is very gregarious. It's very much a party animal. It's out there. It's having fun. It's entertainment. I also think that Lilith here is an element of that kind of mischievousness. It's a difficult word to say. Mischievousness that we can have at times. And, you know, Lilith also in Leo can represent that kind of female kind of narcissistic side where the ego has become a little bit inflated. However, because it's Venus, and Venus is trining Lilith, this is a nice aspect. So there's something here about, it feels that the feminine today is actually going to feel quite good about itself. I think the feminine energy in general is going to be feeling attractive and alluring, and that you will find that, you know, in general, people are attracted to you. And it doesn't matter what sex you are, because I think there's something in this energy, which it's that lovely feminine energy within, which is quite kind of, as I say, sexual, but in a positive and an attractive way that we will recognize in each other today. And I think that will create an element of warmth. Now, the event chart, which is really quite interesting, because Lilith and the South Node and the part of fortune are the only kind of symbols in the lower hemisphere of the chart. Everything else is in the upper hemisphere. Lilith is in opposition, although it's not exact, to Pluto, thereby indicating this kind of transformative energy that a woman can have, or that feminine energy can have, when it uses its kind of qualities and talents in a positive way. It's like women that can use their sexuality as a kind of powerful tool, and how that can transform relationships, because Pluto in this chart is in the 7th house of significant relationships. So you might find this is really quite an interesting day in a serious relationship, where there may also be a little bit of a power struggle, a little bit of a kind of a vying for first place in that in the dynamic of that relationship. Now, if we look at the other energy that's going on in this chart, the moon that is now in Taurus is actually making a square to Lilith. So this is more like kind of, I think the moon is saying, cool it. Just get some grounding here, you know, you fiery Lilith, you. So the moon is actually trying to bring a little bit of kind of sensibility into things and just ground things a bit. Because remember, Venus, that is making this trine from Aries, of course, rules Taurus. So it's you know, it's kind of like underlining the fact that we need to get a little bit of balance with all these energies. Now, Uranus, of course, is still making that square to Mercury, but the energy and the houses have shifted now. So we've got much more kind of transformational energy and surprising kind of decisions being made with regards to big business and communication that shows that decisions that might be made about the economy in general, wherever that might be on the planet, are actually in a slightly kind of precarious state, and it could go both ways. So that it's a bit like if something seems too good to be true in the financial world, then it is too good to be true. So it's not a day, especially with Lilith trining Venus, which is almost like, you know, I want to say the kind of the power of the feminine, where the feminine has gone a little bit too high in its inflated state, so that it feels that somehow its intuitive insight is so spot on that it can take the risks with, say, a financial deal that maybe actually the masculine energy of Aries, where Venus is needed to just row or pull in the kind of the reins a bit and say, hey, just cool it. Let's look at this a little bit more logically, because Lilith is out there on her own. Lilith, remember, likes to be disobedient. Lilith likes to be different. So my advice with this energy today is really to be very circumspect in what you're doing, to think very carefully, still with that Uranus energy making a square to Mercury, about what you talk about. Also, be careful what you disclose to others about your kind of personal business. You know what they say, you know, your business is your business. And what anyone else might ask you about your business is actually not their business. It's not for them to know. It's your stuff. So finally, before I finish this particular heads up, Jupiter in our event chart is actually right on the midheaven. Now, I think because it's in Aries, it's warning us against overinflation, overthinking things are going to be wonderful, and we need to get a reality check. And actually, this brings us straight back to Lilith, because if you think about it, Lilith with Adam was saying, that doesn't work for me. You know, we have to be equal on some level. You can't expect me to be underneath all the time and you on top. And this is like Lilith is saying, just ground things a bit. Even though she's in a fire sign, she's saying otherwise things could get pretty heated and it might not be pretty. So I think it's really important that we don't allow that Jupiter energy on that midheaven to really expand things out of control and get too inflated with our ideas of how things can be, because it just needs to come back down a bit and be grounded. So there we go. Yet another heads up. And thank you so much for joining me for this one. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things that a lot of you do. And I'm hugely grateful for that. So thank you so much. And please take care, have a fabulous day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.